G'day, this video profiles Mt Gibbo Track, which runs between the Mt Pinnibar Track and Buenba Road. The track really starts from the Mt Pinnibar summit because that's where you're going to be coming from most likely, and the views of the Kosciuszko Range are just superb. Here's the intersection with the Pinnibar Track, so this is the actual formal start of the Mt Gibbo Track. Not sure whether it's Gibbo or Gibbo, but I'll call it Gibbo. This area has been absolutely smashed by recent bushfires, and so the track's really heavily overgrown with regrowth. We came through here about 5 years ago and it was really, the track was well dozed and smooth and there was no vegetation. It's a complete opposite now. You can see all the vegetation's growing in, and you will 100% be getting pinstriping down your car if you decide to take on the Mt Gibbo Track. So it's an absolute fantastic track to do. It's got a bit of everything. There's some sections like this where you can whip along, and then other sections you've got to slow down because there's a lot of rutting, got a lot of loose rock. Increased four-wheel drive pressure due to the track closures around Mt Pinnibar have kind of funneled a lot more people through this track recently, and it has severely deteriorated. And you can see here the track's becoming extremely washed out and rutted in many sections. There's some decent little slopes to take on as you drive along the track. All of them have loose rocks, so you need to be super slow and careful as you drive up or down. Overall, it's just an awesome track, and the views back to Pinnibar and to Mt Gibbo as you head towards them are just unreal. So you can see there's just a few rocky bits where you just got to take your time getting up them. Quite a lot of step ups. At times you can see the tracks obviously gets pretty messed up when it's wet. This is a seasonally closed track, so you can't access it during winter. So here we are at the intersection with the Mount Anderson Track. Mount Anderson Track will take you down to the Mount Hope Road, which eventually will take you down to Tom Grogan Station. There's Mt Gibbo in the distance. Absolutely spectacular mountain. So really, from this point on to the other end of the track, it gets really rough just because there's so many rocks towards the summit. And you'll see in a minute, there's lots of loose rocks, a lot of step ups, and I've been up here at times when coming the other way, where it's actually quite difficult, and you can see the amount of people who are spinning their wheels and shifting rocks everywhere that obviously not everyone finds it as easy to get up. So we were going super slow because I had my old tyres on this time. And here we are approaching the summit. There's a rock cairn up the top. It's worth spending 10 minutes checking out the views from the summit. The views are unparalleled in my opinion. coming off the mountain this particular day was just superb. So the western side of the summit gets pretty rough. A little bit hard to see as we drop down, but if you're coming the other way, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's lots of little step ups. It's quite loose. You just need to take it nice and slow. We were crawling, so I didn't want to put a rock through the sidewalls of my tyres. Normally we run mud tyres, so you can be a little bit more aggressive as you're driving along. I think this part of Victoria is possibly the best four-wheel driving in my book. It's just absolutely superb, the views. You're looking right at all the highest peaks of Victoria in this direction, and from the other side you're looking at the entire Kosciuszko range. It's really, really good. And the other great thing is you don't see a lot of traffic up here. So we're now back on the main track. We've got away from a bit of the rocky stuff, and it's pretty easy going. You can roar along safely. A couple of little tricky bits in this section, still need to be careful. I guess the amazing thing for me is to see the vegetation come back and the diversity of plants that have popped up since the fires. This is going to be magnificent in a few years' time. Unfortunately, it's going to crowd the track in, but when you look at it, it's just absolutely stunning piece of vegetation that's starting to regrow. So I think this is a track that can probably be safely tackled by intermediate sort of four-wheel drivers who have had a bit of experience. There's nothing to really catch you out on this track. It's fairly straightforward. You just need to take your time and just take it easy up some of the step ups and the difficult bits, but I think it's a really good track that most four-wheel drivers with a little bit of experience could tackle. And here we are approaching the seasonal gates at the Buenba road intersection. Hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you out there.